And so we go to the move right now and take off the replayer tool. And we look at the bottom side of this chart here and talk about that 9100 level, right? So let's go find that level. So we want to go to a 1 minute chart and just find the greediest untested point. So it looks like it could be in here somewhere. So we need to immediately start looking at this. And we've got this one here. And that's tested. And so that's fine. That's 90.92. So then you have nothing left back here, right? Like you've got that there is tested. This here is tested. This here is tested. So you'd be right here, right? And even if you wanted to go to the top of the candle, but you would actually have the base, right? So you have kind of have two different levels, but we can see that nothing has tested this. So as long as we don't have anything that tests either of these levels, it's perfectly fine. And this is that moment that I was talking about where it comes close, but is it really testing that level? Because you also have this. The problem with this candle is this is a tested range. It's pretty close. It's a tested range. So we can take off the top of this and we can leave that and take a look at this here. And you can see the same thing happens here. So that's that same level that got deep divin, right? It didn't bounce off 91.14. It started to open a hard close, right? Like so this opens its candle down here, right? And starts to open a hard close to dump the move. But again, this is where that deep dive happens, where you indeed don't have a distribution candle close off of it. So technically, this level was broken. This one was not. So you can see the difference, right? Like you can see this level is hard closed here, and it never really reaches 9100. So this is a scenario where you are not up here in price looking to knife catch 9100, right? Because this stuff develops in the moment. So, maybe if the price was 9145 right here, and you're looking at, oh, where could I possibly buy? In that moment, 9100 would have been a great level to buy. So you could have front run it at 9100.01 or 02 and possibly even 03, which looks like somebody did. 9114 is kind of the next untested level. So placing an order here at 9100, which is the greediest level, would have been perfectly fine. And so here we'd be expecting to get filled at, say, even like 91.02 and 10 cents, for example, right? Price comes down. That's fine. We're still expecting it to come down. Breaks down a bit here, moves up. It's fine. Still breaking down. And then right here. So your order never gets filled. 91.03. The level's untested. It's close enough to kind of call it tested, but not really, because as you can see, this is the same thing right here, 91.14, 91.16. Oh, it's close enough to be considered tested. Well, no, not really. It's actually not tested. So any orders that would have stopped, bought, and triggered up actually never executed. So 91.14 now becomes perfect to deep dive this level to like something like 91.05, 91.06, or even to wait to see if 9100 gets hit here. So this order was actually missed, and it's okay because it wasn't that big of a trade. But now I'm fully expecting, you come down to this moment in the future here, and I don't know wherever you are right now, nothing has come close to it. I would fully expect 9100 to hold, but not on that price. So where am I setting my order, right? So like, where would I set my order here? Well, you can look in the past and you can say, okay, well, you have this level here, right? Well, okay, that could be a possibility, right? Okay, what else? Let's find some more possibilities, okay? Let's look at some trends, because we need to justify, like, okay, we know the potential for it to like deep dive its level is there. So now we need to maybe find some trends here. So I've done this work already, so I know it's May 24th. Yeah, adapted this out earlier. So it was from here originally, and then it goes to here. And it goes to here, and then you can see it breaks there. So now it's right here, and then it breaks to this one right here, and then you're right here right now, right? Like you're right here hugging this trend right here like this. Oops, wrong one. You're coming. You're right there. It's like, where can this thing deep dive to, right? So let's look at what it could possibly do. It can hit trend, yes. It can ladder off to this point, yes. So that this becomes a moment of, when in time is this happening? Because if it happened, say, right here, it could deep dive trend, for example. It could go like this, deep dive trend, and create a base from here to here off the whatever level this was in the past. It could create a base, kind of how I've crossed my arrows. So it could go like that, deep dive trend, and then come back up, hold trend, and then move up, okay? If it was for, say, a little further along, you lose that ability to deep dive that trend as much, right? You lose that ability to deep dive that trend as much because you're kind of in this weird in between spot between laddering off this level, which is another possibility. You could simply ladder a little bit off that, just like this one here hits trend, this ladders off that. This could go float a little over top of trend, right? So you're less likely to be in some kind of middle point between all of these things that deep dives you to create a base. At that point, you're kind of more likely to create a ladder if you're deep diving and then go up. The further you come out here, you could possibly even see what the base is from back here. So I believe this was a backside 1 hour right here. That could be another possibility. Backside 1 hour. I believe that's where it was. I'm pretty sure that's what I think it was. This one here, actually, on a different time frame. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So this is another possibility. Hits this again, right? Deep dives that, holds trend, right? Because we're looking objectively at the 9100 level. We're not looking at this level here. We're not looking at this level here. We're saying, oops, I deleted the wrong one. We're not looking at this as, because that 9092 has already been tested. So we're not looking at this as, oh, let's buy trend. Oh, let's buy. That's not the important part. Let's deep dive the trend. Let's deep dive the ladder. The important part is if that hold level holds, because it's going to do this exact same thing that we just saw. It's going to come and do something like this, or bleeds out, whatever. It doesn't matter which of these it touches. The most crucial thing is that this holds, right? So it can go like this, and then go straight up, and then hold here, and then it will go straight up, because the deeper this goes and confirms this hold level, the more likely it is to bounce that much higher up, right? So you're not looking at this to say, oh, I've got 4 and 5 different spots I could buy. You're looking at this, again, objectively at the hold level that is there, okay? So objectively at the hold level, saying that needs to hold. What can I deep dive here? Well, we can see ladder, ladder, ladder. So you can kind of think maybe 9058 might be a good spot. Maybe even a bit higher, maybe 9063, 9064. Deep dive that level by $35. Look at the spread that's in the move, right? So you've got something like 30, 40. Yeah, if you've got 44%, you could probably go for 30 of it. So where does 30% of it leave you? You could probably go for 3/4 of that deep dive, somewhere between half and 3/4. So if you were going for half of that deep dive, you could say, okay, well, even here is a ladder point. So we can say even 0.6. 0.67 here. So it has to kind of ladder that. So we're just going to drop back a little bit. So fine, it ladders here. We'll say 0.6 is pretty safe, because then it's going to deep dive trend. It's going to deep dive the next base of the move, just like these deep dive the move, and they're deep diving it less and less. Really the hard close the base of the move here at 9058. You're gonna break this thing down in a pretty wicked fashion, right? So if you're going to hold 9100, you can kind of just create a ladder. You can't go too past 9058. Like these ones are fine, but this also happens relatively quickly. So you can take half of the spread, right? So you can say, okay, 0.6 is kind of the max here, right? It would be a miracle if we hit the base again. The furthest it could go is probably like 9044. Ladder off this point. So you could go for somewhere between half and 75% of that. So if we're at 0.6, half of that would mean we can kind of go like this. We can go, 9073 looks good. We can even go for 3/4 of that, which would be 45%, right? So we could even go something like that, which leaves us pretty close to that level. So we can kind of go some kind of in between level there that's going to ladder this, right? So you've got a decision to make there where you can say, okay, and 9100 is the level that has to hold. So in the case, and let's take the replayer tool off here, see where we're at right now. I think we're current. Exit the move. Yes. So in this case here, again, you're looking at this and you're saying 9100 is important. Objectively, that's the important level that we need, right? Like this is the level. And we are only going after a deep dive on this move because our last buy was so close, but didn't really hit the level. So you are expecting somewhat of a breakdown, but not actually hold this level, because it is an untested hold. So this level is likely to hold. It's just that it's going to deep dive it to the other levels, but still maintain its integrity in the move. And what I mean by that is it's still going to hard close above that level, not hard close in distribution below that 9100 level. Hard closing in distribution below 9100 is trouble. it means you're trying to hard close 90.58, which is looks like the base of the move here. Just quickly, without going too crazy into finding the base here, I believe it's 90.58 here. Looks like can call it 90.60. A little bit of error. If you were to buy 90.65 and you hard close 90.60, there's not a big loss there. If you hard close 90.60 and you had bought 9100 as a knife catch, man, there's a big loss there. And this is a pretty big difference between when we actually buy a knife catch versus trying to deep dive a level against reverse information, trends, candle wicks, typically not candle wicks like that. You've got kind of these reverse levels. Trend, you've got 90.58, which is the base of the move. What could it hold? And can it front run it? Like, can it front run the base of the move? Sure. So what would be wrong with like doing 90.61, 97, for example? It could hit the base. It could just bounce right off of that base. It looks like it tried to break the base back here, right? Same thing happened back here. I'm sure it deep dived its level from even back here, or, what is it right here? Can even just take a look at this and see what had happened here. And I wonder if there's even a greedier moment here. You had the 3 that was closed. And then about the 5 minute. The 5 minute was closed. Is there a 15? Come on. Where'd we go, trading view? There is a 15-minute closed here, but the 15 minutes starting to get a little muddled. So you simply have the hold of the move, the base of the move holding it up. You can even go back to the 1 here and try to find that level. Yeah, it's right here. It's as clean as day. 9100, 9103. It actually does bounce off that level. See, that would have been an interesting spot right here, because look right here, you had a choice to make between buying this level and deep diving into the base, right? So let's see. Hits that level again. It bounced up. You can see it's kind of failing down. Most people would panic here and get out of the trade if you had bought this, right? So let's talk about a few different scenarios. Scenario number 1, you bought 9100, comes up, pulls back down, and it's riding the level like this. Breaks down instantly. That's the point where you should be out of the trade. But look what happens here. 90.60 is the actual base of the move. So if you had taken the spread on this, you would have been in that same scenario where you might have actually front run that level a little bit. 90.60 ends up holding, even there too, right? Like you can see it right there, even there, it ends up holding, and it gives more incentive to be in this trade. And I believe you actually would have gotten liquidated on this if you're at 9100. So that's the benefit to deep diving a level, right? Is that you can look at the information below, and when you have a base of a move like this, right? Because really right here, like if you're looking at this move here, let's go to a bit of a higher time frame. That's the whole level there. And you can see it fails down and hard closes, which goes straight to the next level, which is perfectly expected, right? Even a higher time frame, maybe 15-minute right there. So if this is the 15-minute right here, right, you can see that same thing happens, where it deep dives the level and comes right back up. And ends up hitting the base of the move, which is exactly where it's going to keep bouncing off of until it breaks this base of the move, and then the move is completely collapsed. I can get rid of some of these other ones. What do we have here? Get rid of this. And that's held there. That's held there. You can see it laddering here. Then you're still drawn back to that same moment where 9100 really wasn't hit. And there's not much below left. I don't even mind this right here, because you deep dove trend, and it made sense. You said, okay, here's a level, let's deep dive trend. That makes sense, having the level here and saying, okay, you can deep dive it as long as you don't hard close this base of the move. bounce off trend, and this isn't hard closed on the time frame above, right? Like this is just a 1 minute candle. You're not looking at greedy 1 minute holds here. You're looking at the base of the move. This is something completely different. But this is the exact same thing as to where you make that decision. Oh, do I knife catch the base of the move, or do I deep dive it to what makes sense? And then so this right here, that trend was there. So if you have the base of the move, why couldn't you have deep div in the trend?